With the terrorist attacks that happened this weekend by Hamas in Israel and now the ensuing war, there are many of us, and perhaps even most of us, who have friends and who have colleagues who, for whom this is not simply a horrific international news story. It is a horrific and traumatic personal event. They have perhaps lost family or have had friends or family injured, and perhaps family that are unaccounted for in one way or another. And for those of us who care for those friends and colleagues, we might be remiss at what to say or how to support our friends in such a awful and traumatic time. And for even those of us for whom, for those of us who are usually adept at comforting people who are in pain, for those of us who it might be our profession to comfort those who are in pain, it can be difficult to know what to say and what to do. So I wanted to offer a few suggestions and a few points of guidance, and they are by no means the perfect or right thing to say, because I don't know in these situations that there is a perfectly right thing to say. But I think the number one thing that we can do with our friends and family for whom this is so deeply personal is to acknowledge what happened and simply saying, I'm thinking of you, I'm watching closely what's happening, I'm so sorry. And if that's all that you can say, letting someone know you are seen, you are on my mind, there might not be anything I can do in this moment, but I'm standing here with you. That is number one thing that we can all do. Even if we stumble over the words, even if we don't get it quite right, it's important to acknowledge and hold space with and for that person. Another thing to keep in mind is that people who are currently experiencing trauma, and that is what this is, even if they're on the other side of the world from direct harm, they're experiencing a trauma. And people who are experiencing a trauma can't process that trauma. We really can't, our bodies and minds aren't designed to process trauma until we are past it. So what does that mean for those of us who are trying to be supportive, want to be supportive to our friends who are going through this? The number one thing to know is they may react in a million different ways, and all of that is normal, although I hesitate to use that word in such a horrifically abnormal event. But anything is normal. So a person might be numb, even disassociated from it, seem like they want to not talk about it at all, nose to the grindstone, focus on work. Allow that person that space. If they are in a mode of protecting themselves and their hearts, that you can acknowledge what has happened, let them know that you are there for them. And if they don't want to talk about it, if they really want to focus, or if they seem completely detached from it, don't let that be a surprise to you. That is absolutely to be expected and normal. Likewise, the exact opposite or the other kind of end is is to be absolutely consumed, inability to focus on anything else because their mind and heart and soul is so focused on what is going on, that hyperfixation, knowing that, having, anger, confusion, all of this. So, knowing that you have people in your lives who are going through, on one hand, the very similar or same thing, their reactions to it, it's normal that they can be all over the map. If you are in a position to do something, then the best thing to do is to make a concrete offer for help. When someone's mind is so distracted on the crisis and tragedy at hand, it is very difficult for them to process and know and be able to make requests for help, even when they really, really do need it. So if there's something that you can offer, a concrete offer that you can make them without them having to ask, all the better. That might look like offering to take on part of a project at work, or part of a shift so they can go home early, or take time out in the middle of the day. It can look like an offer to, if you know this person personally outside of work, an offer to take their kids for a couple of hours. When you're really focusing on and dealing with a traumatic event, parents have this dual responsibility to both care for and protect their children from the traumatic event, and also deal with it themselves. And so having the ability to know that their children are on a play date, safe, being entertained, being fed, offer to take a kid out for pizza. So then that family can focus on what they need and want to in that moment, trying to reach out to family members, trying to find out what's going on, trying to grieve a loss. So concrete offers of help are always the best offers for help. And finally, circling back a little bit to the first thing that I said, that this is an ongoing, a continuing trauma that people are experiencing. This isn't over. And so knowing that this could be or will be a prolonged experience for your friends and your colleagues, having a sustained presence for them and with them during this time is so crucial and critical. If there's anything that I can do to provide you as essentially emotional caregivers of your friends and colleagues during this time, please reach out to me at rb@reneebranson.blog so I can be of help to you. And most importantly, to my own friends and loved ones for whom this is a very personal family experience. Please know that I'm with you. I'm standing with you. I am keeping my eyes very closely peeled to what is unfolding and bearing witness to that with you. And I will stay in touch and be in touch throughout the days and weeks to come. I wish you all and all of us nothing but peace.